Hey, welcome back, my awesome students. So, on this lecture, we are going to be playing a little bit with Stripe, okay? So, one thing that I want to do here is I want to make sure that I'm not dumping anything there, okay? Usually, I use this code here to test out some things, okay? So, var dump is a very useful command there for that. One thing that I'm noticing here is that, if you guys have not fixed this, I'm going to show you how to do it real quick. In the slides section here, I can see now that I don't have nothing there to click on, basically. And I don't like that. Let's just go ahead and fix that real quick. Okay, I promise you it won't take much. So let's go to slides and get slide thumbnails. And the way I'm doing that, guys, for some of you and some editors, and I'm jumping into the specific place of that function where I just press command and click. I don't know, in Windows it might be control and click. Okay, this is in IntelliJ, but it could be done in any other editor. So this image here has no alt. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put this variable in there, in here. And I'm going to do that for all of them. Get thumbnail slides, get slides. I'm going to put the slide image in there. Okay, just like that. Get slides. Okay, just make sure you have your alt, because when you don't have an image, it's a hassle not to have something there. So now if I click it, it's better. It works better. So perfect. All right. Let's put another slide there. It's like per slide, whatever. One. Oops. Slide pers. Two. There we go. Oops, it's the same thing. Let's get another one real quick here. All right. Perfect. You can fix the image if you haven't. Fix height, so that way you don't have problems with the image moving here. But anyway, so let's get back to the code here. So let's go and so we need to fill up our environment variables here to this file with our Stripe publishable underscore pub key. You can name this whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. Okay. So I'm just gonna copy and paste mine. You go to the Stripe website and you paste yours. Okay, get yours. We're also gonna need a Stripe secret key. Okay, so I'm not gonna show you mine because I know some of you like to play around a lot with trying to hack into other people's website. You shouldn't be doing that, guys. You shouldn't be doing that. But anyway, all right. And we're gonna also have a success domain address. For now, I'm just gonna put the checkout for both. Okay. In reality, later on, it's gonna be like success something there, but I'm just gonna leave it like this for now. Okay. So go ahead and get your Stripe as secret key and paste it in there. I'm gonna do mine right now, so you're not gonna see me. Okay. And let me just pause the video and do it. Just copy and paste mine. As you can see, your keys are gonna start with with some letters there. Like for example, PK for public key, SK for secret key, and so on. Okay. So make sure that you go to the Stripe account and do that. Remember that it is here in the API keys, and you just click this button here and copy the key. Okay. So now that we have those, we don't need that file anymore for now. Let's come back here. Now that that's protected, every time you save your project, you make sure that in where your composer JSON is, which is a file that is produced by Composer, this is where it's going to require those packages for you. Okay, this is where that gets included. Now inside the root directory, I'm going to create another file here called .git ignore. Okay, so GITIGNORE, git ignore. Okay, like this, .git ignore. Okay, that's what you name the file. And I'm just going to put vendor, so that, and I'm also going to make sure that I go back to resources and not include the end file there. Anything inside there I'm not going to include. Okay, right here. So actually not back, I'm sorry, it's resources and then the end .en, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that we ignore these files here, because when you publish these files in GitHub or something, it's a repository online where you save your projects to, so you can share it with the world. You don't want to, you know, upload this. This has a lot of data in there, and you don't want to upload your public, your private information either, so other people can see it. Okay. So anyway, so that's that. Let's go back to Stripe. So let's go to public, and in checkout we are going to write a little piece of code here, so that way when we click on the buy now button that we don't have right now, let's just add something there so we have it. When we click on the buy now, it directs us to the Stripe API. Okay, so now we're gonna have to remove that from there, and let me just fix I like to have my IDE, my text editor, in the middle, you know. So let's go to the checkout where we have that show PayPal. Okay, so we have a button here that I'm not going to remove. I'm just going to create another function that shows another button, because I don't want I want you guys to have the PayPal functionality still. Okay, this is just going to be extra, so I'm just going to copy that and paste it in there, and instead of this delimiter, I'm going to put a button, okay, with a class of btn and btn primary, just to make it look nice, buy now. Okay, and this is just going to be a buy now button. I don't have to actually write it, put it like this. I didn't have to write a program. I can just comment this out here in checkout and just put a regular button here. Okay, I could do that as well. You could do that as well. You don't have to put another function. Okay, so I'm just gonna comment this out, and this is now going to be this one. By now, let me see this unnecessary variable. Is it? Well, I like to have it like that anyway. So let's go here, and you can see the button there. Now let's make sure that that button also has a type of submit, because I want this button to be a form button, so that's why I put the type in there. I think you can just press enter on this button too and it works, so I like that. But we don't have any form fields here, so that's not gonna work with enter. So the next thing is that we have to write a little bit of JavaScript. I hope you guys are not scared of JavaScript, but I'm going to show you. So let's go to checkout, and right below all this, right below the footer, okay, because in the footer we are including a couple of JavaScript files, right? We have jQuery, I believe, so just make sure that we have it, okay, because if we don't have it, it's not going to work. The footer, so I am using jQuery since the beginning of this course in this program, and Bootstrap, okay. So let's go to the checkout, and right below here, because we want jQuery to be available above us, so we're going to write some JavaScript here. But before we do that, we have to include the Stripe client API package that they have, basically a piece of code from them that we need is js.stripe.com v3, I believe. We're gonna find out if it works in a minute. All right, and let's just create a variable here called Stripe, and this is the function from them. So this Stripe function is coming from this code right here. And in here, what we're going to do is we are going to include some PHP code inside JavaScript. How about that? Isn't that awesome? So I'm just going to say, well, we can write it like this, the PHP, right? But I'm going to do a shortcut, and instead of writing PHP, I'm going to do the little equal symbol here, okay? And that just means echo. And now I can write some PHP. So here is where I'm going to use my Stripe publishable key, or pub key. Okay, that's the public key. Let me just make sure. There we go. Alrighty. Make sure that you close that function there. And I'm going to add a handler, click handler to the button. I didn't give this button a class. I believe, let's just make sure that we have a class somewhere, an ID or something here. I'm gonna name this BTN just like that. An ID of BTN to this button. Let's go to checkout again, all the way in the bottom. And now I just say, hey, I want you to grab the button and add event listener to it. Okay, now we can do this because I think Stripe is actually giving us the ability to do that. If you have jQuery, you can also do this. BTN, and we're gonna say on click. We are going to execute a function with an event inside. And the first thing, we're going to prevent the function from actually being submitted natively because we're going to be using JavaScript, okay? And we're going to grab this Stripe, and we're going to say redirect and to checkout, I believe. Checkout. I think it has another T right here. And in here, we are going to have an object that this is the field that it has to, the field that they are going to detect. They're looking, their API is actually listening, it's looking for this variable in their end, okay? And what we're going to give them is our secret key, well, our session ID, okay? Now, this session ID is going to be produced when we create our code, when we create a payment, okay? So right now, this is not going to work, okay? But I want to make sure that is that this button here, it's working, okay? So I'm going to leave this for the next lecture because we need to write some PHP code. So this is not going to work 100%. with that right now. Okay, so let me just leave it empty and let's check to see if the button at least works. Let's click it, and if we checked we do inspect element, right click and choose inspect, we check the console, we can see that it says invalid value for the redirect because it's looking for the session ID. We don't have a session ID yet, okay, but let's just make sure that our button is working. Hello. Okay, let's refresh, and if we click it, you can see that it says hello in here. Okay, so at least our button is working. On the next lecture, we're going to write some PHP code so we can get the session ID, okay, and that way it gets redirected to their API and we can do some more stuff. I'll see you in the next lecture.